Dude, you told me we were gonna watch the Yolog.
Yolog, RWBY Volume 5, Potato, they're sort of the same thing.
You got anything else we can watch that's actually good?
How did you know I had RWBY Chibi?
Right, man. What exactly is your deal with RWBY? Why should RWBY be worth caring about to be force-fed it every single Grimble? This is the 5th time with there ever important in your life where RWBY meant something to you.
You shouldn't have said that.
Today, we'll be talking about RWBY Chibi, a cute, light-hearted sketch comedy short series by Rooster Teeth starring your favorite RWBY characters just doing whatever they want. RWBY Chibi is a spin-off of RWBY. So, RWBY, right? That 3D anime influenced show made by the late Monty Yoam, best known for Haloid, Death Fantasy, and those cool fight scenes in Red vs. Blue seasons 8 to 10. The show you tuned into as a starry-eyed teen, not for the characters, but just for the cool fight scenes and to stare at the female characters' weapons.
Stop staring at my gauntlets, please.
Wasn't RWBY big fun? I mean, considering the many times I just couldn't shut up about it. Hell yeah it was! Why did I buy these?
Hey, I bought Blake.
Well, why did you buy that?
I don't know. I was drunk.
Well, when Volume 3 came and went along, viewers started to note a tonal shift, which meant darker things were coming in RWBY's way. And came, they did. The second half of Volume 3 had death and dismemberment, all culminating in Beacon Academy being destroyed, the Kingdom of Vale overrun with Grim, and Teams RWBY and Juniper separated. What exactly was to be next? Well, I don't get atheism. After RWBY Volume 3 proved to everyone that doom and gloom was totally in now, RWBY Chibi, released on May 7, 2016, boosted morale, and featured the RWBY cast in an alternate reality of goofy sunshine and wacky rainbows, and the one thing that could pose a threat to everyone was their pancakes being possessed.
Why do I always make so many pancakes?
This show is completely devoid of any lore element of the original show you just can't wrap your head around, or anything after Volume 4, almost. Each episode was 2 to 5 shorts mashed into one, and since Chibi was non-canon-ish, anything can happen. They played tag, they baked cookies, they posed as police officers, they left John Ark to drown and die in a public swimming pool because the Coast Guard had a fear of water, and wouldn't bear to face his fears and the cost of saving a life, ergo making him feel validated for taking up a job he's otherwise unqualified for. Endless possibilities, not hyperbole.
Oh my god!
If there's anything to credit RWBY Chibi for, it's playing around with the characters. And this may be the I watched too many RWBY critics back then and let their opinions of the show affect mine part of me, but by God, does it do it best? I think RWBY's bloated cast actually gets to be utilized to the optimum, with much more moments of interaction between them. And like, of course, Scout, Team RWBY and Team Juniper do interact, they like to talk to each other and laugh a lot. I get that, but even small moments of them hanging out with each other, or hell, any of the other side characters, for any other reason but the plot needs us to talk about how such great friends we are, is needed to show how such great friends they are. RWBY Chibi allows those moments to happen. Team RWBY and Nora starting a rock band, with Tai, RWBY and Yang's dad, being the hype man that Yang doesn't really need. White starting a tea party with friends to introduce her butler, Klein. Crow banding together some of the coolest people in campus. The simple delight of unlikely matchups.
Unlikely matchups? So does that mean I'm allowed to ship Tetris DS and a keyboard?
No. Oh yeah, these guys have weapons, remember? Like RWBY's cool scythe that's also a gun, Crescent Rose. Well, in RWBY Chibi, she uses it to cut open a frickin' jar of pickles. You don't see that in regular-ass RWBY. Instead, you see this. What the hell? But with that said, the show did start off small and simple. The premiere episode only had Team RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang. The next episode did something huge, though. They had Zwei, the dog. Oh, and John Ark, if anyone cares. Episode 6, The Vacuum, brought in the rest of Team Juniper, including Piranicos, in a segment called The Fourth Wall, where Nora exclaims, "Nothing bad ever happened. Ever." The show really loved to make gestures at the RWBY fanbase with moments like this.
It's also a gun.
This. And especially this.
I'm the best girl.
Make of that as you will. By episode 18, the cast further expands to junior detectives Sun and Neptune, the best boy Shopkeep, and villains Cinder, Mercury, and Emerald, with Roman Torchwick and Neapolitan joining shortly after.
Stay.
Another thing RWBY Chibi loved to do, by the way. Load specific character traits and minor details out of proportion. The first episode of RWBY sees Osmond giving RWBY some cookies, which she eats up like a damn machine. The first episode of Chibi shows RWBY making some cookies, I think. Neo is a character well known for being mute, and so she's given signs to write out quirky one-liners and the like. But where they come from, we shouldn't elaborate on that. The very concept of the junior detectives originated from a few episodes of RWBY Volume 2 where Sun and Neptune's like, oh yeah, we have a little detective club. Yeah, they had tons of mileage off those relatively minor details. I like how they made John a sore loser, how they made Nora what some people might call a exuberant partner, and how they made Blake a twihard, and also the butt of certain jokes because she's part cat. Yeah. Seasons 2 and 3 bolstered up the cast with Penny, Crow, Ozpin, Port, Oobleck, Winter, Carden, Klein, and Surprise Talking Grim, and I love them all. Yet even then, Season 1 basically had the perfect cast the show could have, chock full of essential characters who wouldn't do without, and some of the fan favorites. Oh yeah, there were seasons. Season 1 of RWBY Chibi was a decent start to the series, noticeably being more reserved and laid back than its later outrageous seasons. Like, the more I think of segments in Season 1, I think of how a good amount of them don't contain music, how there's more static shots, how the green grass is literally just a green solid ground that is not grass, and the soundtrack would contain some of RWBY's biggest bangers. Thanks, Jeff Williams and Alex Abraham. Looking past some occasional choppy animation, Chibi's first rodeo is completely and utterly tolerable. Might be good to watch if you want to chill out. This is where the show's self-referential, subversive, tongue-in-cheek humor took form, with surprisingly a good amount of innuendo and certain implications.
Just get in bed, Grandma. Easy there, Wolfie. You haven't even bought me dinner yet. Heyo! Okay, I'm just gonna move this along and eat her.
Season 2 is where RWBY Chibi possibly peaked, and Rooster Teeth ensured that whatever Season 1 did, this season did better. There's more characters, as I've said, but in addition to noticeably better renders, segments feeling more animated with snappier jokes and energetic use of effects and camera work, the grass being actual grass, this season also proved that the show's not afraid to break away from the zaniness and have a semblance of a heartfelt moment here and there. And Season 3 is pretty much a continuation of what Season 2 laid out, which means it's just as good. And it had that one moment where John sang the Cam Cam theme song to annoy Cinder. You know, actually, that's when Chibi peaked. Though now, each episode only had 2 segments, making it feel like they end a bit too soon. Quite a lot like the season's run. RWBY Chibi Season 3 lasted only 16 episodes instead of the usual 24. Strange. The last episode, RWBY Dreams, was just as much of a season finale as it was a regular episode. Season 1 had the comedic masterpiece that was the one with the laughter track. Season 2 had the just as epic battle of the bands as the 22nd episode. Even though RWBY flat out thanks the viewer for watching until the end, as if this was meant to be the season finale, that's kinda strange. And Season 3 has Klein getting noodles and Team RWBY dreaming. Well, it did end in a meta way, with Chibi RWBY meeting her main show equivalent RWBY in her dream, but it doesn't help the fact that for a while, RWBY Chibi went out not with a bang, but with a quiver.
He's really nearing 8 minutes on his spiel about Roomba's Quibi.
Yeah, well, that's Mint Kirby for you. Just a full-on rambler. Ain't that right, Espanol? Espanol?
Oh, look, we're still watching RWBY by 5. Oh, look, people are moving their lips.
People theorize that Chibi's death back in 2018 can be blamed on 2 major factors. Factor 1. Genlock, a 3D mecha action series boasted to be this huge deal by Rooster Teeth, turned out to be a massively demanding production that required any other animated project of theirs to be kicked under the bus. Since Genlock was now in top priority, large masses of the Chibi crew that weren't voice actors, writers, or directors were now carried over to work on it. And Factor 2. Change in release strategy. While initially episodes were released to Rooster Teeth First members only, with the general public getting it about a week after on roosterteeth.com and YouTube, after the mid-season break, Rooster Teeth decided to make new episodes of Chibi available on YouTube 2 months after people might have already seen it through roosterteeth.com and wouldn't care less about a long overdue YouTube upload. This was part of a greater decision within Rooster Teeth to premiere new episodes of RWBY, Cam Cam, and Red vs. Blue, etc. exclusively on the platform, staying away from YouTube as far as possible. RWBY TV evaporated because Rooster Teeth had to brag about how huge their comic is. One had to wonder, when and how will RWBY Chibi come back? Out of freaking nowhere, 2021 saw the release of an 8-episode anthology series called Neon Konbini, with Chibi making a long-awaited sort of return as single segments. That'll definitely make up for the ransom. And once the show came out, being the only big RWBY nut I know, I didn't bother to watch them all. At that point, I've mellowed out from that RWBY phase I had in 2019, but they did release some of the skits on YouTube with attention-grabbing titles like RWBY Chibi is back! That nuclear bomb's landing. And my verdict? It's almost like it never left. In an ideal world, these would be segments in Season 3, minus the new Fortnite-esque rendering. Coco from RWBY Volume 2 is introduced in these shorts, which is a nice sight to see. And she was previously teased to be in Season 3. That's pretty neat. Animation is buttery smooth this time, and some of the jokes here, especially in Thai to sub, are kinda out there.
You can call me Mr. Zhao Long, or you can call me Thai. Just don't call me when I'm in the shower.
Somebody kill me and make it fast.
And that's basically it for RWBY Chibi. Considering that RT is currently, well, the fires are less intense than yesterday's. Yeah. And RWBY is really the only thing they're actively working on. It's unlikely we'll ever get to see more of full-on RWBY Chibi, or Camp, or No Man of Nowhere, or Recorded by Arisal. Maybe if Neon Konbini unexpectedly makes a comeback, we might get more Chibi, but I always live in false hope, do I? But you know what? I'm happy with what we've got off this. The show was a nice collaborative effort within Rooster Teeth, as the writers and animators were given the chance to put their own personal input to each of the shorts, and many people would gain their first directorial role and get an idea on how the team works on it just by directing a Chibi segment. If there's anything to take away from this spiel, it's to support the talented team, whether or not they were writers, directors, animators, editors, etc. Given the circumstances, they need all the support they can have. I've discovered RWBY Chibi back in 2019 and have been in an on and off relationship since, but the many times me and my brother revisit the show, we'd be sucked in again and again. Though you might rightfully agree that there's better shows out there, RWBY Chibi will have you coming back for its quirky dialogue, fun characters, the wacky antics, or maybe you just want something chill and cutesy to watch for a bit. And with how RWBY has such a vast cast, lore, and story that isn't too easy to understand or tolerate, Chibi could appease those who long for the days of volumes 1, 2, and 3, when it was only Team RWBY and company doing stuff, maybe fighting monsters, in a relatively tensionless world. Through it all, it teaches a lesson to be learned by everyone. Life can be more fun if we were all Chibi. I don't think I've proven my point enough. Anyone want to listen to my favorite Chibi episodes? Hey, is anybody else here bored out of their freaking minds? Let's talk about our favorite restaurants.
I'm a big fan of KFC. Say, whenever you see the logo, don't you think...
No, do not speak any further. I will not see it.
I'm trying to open your eyes.
Well, there's this cool place downtown called Eagles Waffles. We should probably sneak out over there.
Oh, wait. What do they sell again?
You know, it never seemed obvious.
Maybe mozzarella sticks. Let's go there.
Here, I am testing out the laptop webcam microphone. Here, I am testing out the Logitech webcam microphone.
No hands below the waist.